Yes, good evening. Assalamu alaikum to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Jazakallah. And of course, we'll be talking about a big news story that happened earlier on today, and that is none other than Kabelo Gwamanda resigning as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. This comes after he tendered his resignation to Speaker Margaret Arnolds. Now, this follows weeks of heightened negotiations led by the ANC, which will pave a way back for the mayoral office for the former liberation movement. Now, there were a possibility of discussions that this was actually supposed to be a vote of no confidence and an impeachment against Gwamanda. But it seems he's taken another route, and that is, of course, the resignation, which happened today. Joining us, I'd like to welcome ActionSA's Gauteng Provincial Chair, Funzi Ngobeni, to discuss this. Funzi, good day. Thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV.
Thank you, Farad, and good afternoon and good day to the viewers of Hilaal TV. So thanks very much for having us this afternoon.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Funzi, this was supposed to be at a council sitting. Did this take the ActionSA by surprise that the resignation happened earlier than expected?
Yeah, look. Firstly, let's welcome this resignation. Let's also, pay our gratitude to the leadership of the ANC in the province and in the region of Johannesburg. We are of the view that they did obviously engage with their colleagues. Amongst them is the mayor himself. And this resignation is a result of those negotiations. And I think, we welcome that. And we hope that this pave a way for the city of Johannesburg really, getting to be fixed and getting back to what the residents will want to see, which is uninterrupted service delivery. So yeah, we were not really surprised, but because we know that the ANC was engaging with him, his party, and other coalition partners that they are in the coalition with as we speak. And we welcome that we don't have to go through the route of a motion of no confidence, that we are able to fast track this change of the mayor, and in a seamless approach that could ensure that there is no vacuum in that office of the mayor of the city of Johannesburg.
Funzi, when I had Nobuhle Mtembu, who of course serves as ActionSA's Johannesburg caucus leader, one of the things she mentioned is that the negotiations with the ANC is going to have to be on a clear and thorough method, which means whoever does come in as the mayor of Johannesburg, there has to be a sense of clear and concise leadership. Now, the name of Dada Murero has been mentioned. Is that something you feel would that be the right fit for the mayor? Is there still negotiations? Is ActionSA still thinking about maybe having one of its representatives to take up that seat?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's correct that we did make some views and conditions to the ANC to be able to secure our support. And one of that was to say to them, look, we are not going to prescribe to you, the ANC, on who you must put forward as the mayor. All that we are going to say is that give the residents of Johannesburg an individual that has integrity, an individual that is competent, individual that has a vision to lead a complex city like the city of Johannesburg, and we will support. We do now have a confirmation from the ANC that they are actually fielding Dada Morero, and we don't have a problem with that individual. As I'm speaking to you now, for us, it's an individual that we can support and work with towards fixing the city of Johannesburg. So that's really where we stand at the moment in regards to who will replace Kabelo Gwamanda.
Funzi, The city of Johannesburg, I mean, you would know quite well, of course. You were with your current leader, Herman Mashaba, who served as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, close to a decade ago when both of you were still in the Democratic Alliance. It's a city that's gone through a lot of challenges, at least not the service delivery, the water challenges that are happening, dilapidated buildings, especially within the city centre. I drove past there when I went to go visit my grandmother, who's currently in Garden City Hospital, to just see how the city has actually, really degraded. How is Action SA going to assist the ANC in trying to solve these issues that the city of Johannesburg face right now?
Yeah. Yeah, look, we have made ourselves available to really assist in a turnaround of the city of Johannesburg. We have sort of indicated to the ANC that we will prefer to be on the oversight level of the city, which means we have availed ourselves to be the Speaker of Council, and we have also availed ourselves to chair some of the oversight committees in the city. And the ANC has indicated that they appreciate this in principle, but they had to obviously go and engage with their leadership and their coalition partners, and those discussions are still underway, and we hope that they will be concluded before we vote for the mayor on Friday. But our contribution will not only be in holding positions. For us, as you correctly said, some of us are experienced in the city, and we have served in critical positions in the past, and we know, at least with the humble knowledge that we have and experience, we have some know-how that we can be able to share with those that will be holding executive positions on how, for example, they can improve the revenue collection of the city, how they can be able to put together a program and implement it, like a program to reclaim the buildings in the inner city that have been hijacked, cleaning up the city. The city is filthy, and even with the presence of Pick It Up, we are unable to find a city that is clean. Every morning when we wake up, and drive around the city, we can see that, as you have indicated as well. I mean, maintenance and repairs of traffic lights and other infrastructure of the city, it's not being done, as we speak now. And those are things that we can contribute on, and we have made ourselves available to the ANC that let's work together. It's not in the interest of the residents that we will always be opposing each other, calling each other names. Let's work together. Let's share experience and knowledge, and see the city really taking a different trajectory that is currently on. So we are available, and we hope that our extension of the hand to the ANC will be appreciated, and then we can be able to see a difference, at no time, because we don't have time. The longer we take in returning the city of Johannesburg to its former glory, the more it gets damaged and making it even more difficult for us to be able to intervene.
Funzi, one of the biggest challenges facing the city is this 200 Rand surcharge for prepaid electricity customers. Now, some would say that this was sort of the Achilles heel, or the stroke that hit the camel's back for Kabelo Gwamanda to eventually depart from this position. The residents are frustrated because they were already paying such high costs for electricity, and this 200 Rand surcharge would really be the nail in the coffin in the tight financial situation that the country finds itself in. From an Action SA perspective, when the mayor is of course elected, and then the first the council sitting happens, what is the plan for the Joburg residents that are watching this broadcast right now, and asking, can this 200 Rand surcharge be pushed to the side up until another funding mechanism comes in?
That's really our proposal, and we have tabled that to the ANC, and we have even given them ideas on how they can replace that revenue source, in the city. So they have committed for us that that's what it is going to happen. We'll have a review of this 200 rand surcharge, and of course that will have to take place or take effect with the adjustment budget that will be tabled early in the new year. Because indeed, I mean, there are other ways of raising revenue. I did say, just now that one of the issues that the city has, it relates to revenue collection and generating funds that can be directed towards service delivery. There's so many people who are connecting illegally to the grid, whether it's water, whether it's electricity. And some of these are people that can afford to pay the rates. Some of these are companies, big estates that are actually, making a lot of profit, but they are not paying what is due to the city. Those are the first the people that must be targeted. The law-abiding citizens like me and you, who are paying their electricity each and every month, who are paying their rates and taxes, shouldn't be the first target of the city. We should be able to target those ones. There are people that are running businesses across the city. They don't have licenses to run those businesses. There are people who are driving, cars that are not roadworthy, and all kinds of illegalities that is happening. That's where we must be able to generate revenue, and be able to direct that revenue. We must be able to reduce the fat in our budget. There's no need for having a huge budget for consultants, for example, when we have close to about 30,000, plus officials, many of them very competent, that can be able to do the work. There's no reason really for us to be outsourcing so many of the functions of the city when we can be able to do it ourselves. So we must cut the fat. We must reduce the number of international trips. We must be able to reduce all these, parties that the cities tend to have that are spending a lot of money on. Tackle corruption in the city. That will reduce expenditure. We'll be able to see return of investment with the money that we have. So I'm basically saying there's no need for this surcharge. We can be able to generate enough funds as a city and direct those funds correctly towards infrastructure repairs and infrastructure development and many other things that the city ought to do.
Funzi, we've come out of time. Thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV. Much appreciated.
Thank you, fellas.
That's Funzi Ngobeni, is ActionSA's Gauteng Provincial Chair. Of course, we'll be following the unraveling on what's going to happen with regards to the city of Johannesburg. After the break, we continue a theme of speaking to female representatives within the National Assembly. I'll be talking to EFF Member of Parliament, Paul Nitamaré. Do stay tuned.